How's it going, everybody? Today is going to be part 2 of the longboard restoration series, where I show you how I took an old crappy longboard and turned it into something that looks like this. If you're new to this channel, you've heard it a million times. All the YouTube stuff, comments, likes, subscribing down below helps a ton. I try to post about 3 times a week. I like to post art projects and time-lapse stuff like this, as well as buying and selling tips, because I know if you want to do an art project, oftentimes cost can be one of the biggest things stopping you from doing that. So I want to share some of my tips and secrets for how to get on that. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. What I'm doing right now is going over and taping all of the truck pieces. I ended up actually making some unnecessary work for myself because I underestimated how much of these pieces I'd want to be covered by the painting that I ended up covering them with. But I think it was important to leave it in because it really shows just how important the prep process is in all of this. I found that throughout the whole creation of every single project I've ever done, most of the work is actually in the prep. If you want something to turn out nice, the most important thing is to make sure everything's set up. If you're going to be painting, taping, and sanding ahead of time is the most important thing. The actual paint part itself comes pretty easy as long as you're able to set everything up properly. And this is the start of where the entire longboard process has been building up to. Right now I'm mixing a couple different of gray paints. The look I'm going for on the background was a watery, dark, sort of abstract kind of deal. I'm using a technique called paint pouring, which basically involves mixing a bunch of paints together with what's in that white bottle. It's called pouring medium. Makes the paint a lot thinner, and it allows for really interesting patterns to come about when you pour and mix them together. What I'm doing now is adding the first of the highlights. I'm trying to spread it out to give it sort of a water flow-like look. I think the angle helped as well, and if you see now I'm going back over with the blowtorch. The video camera is not good enough to pick it up on film, but when you add pouring medium and mix a bunch of different paints together and then go over it with a blowtorch, it gets this really cool bubbling effect that when you look in super close, it makes it look very complex because all of the different colors will sort of bubble into each other and mix in interesting ways. To be completely honest, I'm really not going off the huge master plan. I'm just kind of adding individual streaks of color and seeing how it looks. Right now I'm messing around with different looks on the cardboard. I think I did 2 practice runs on some paper before I actually was willing to put paint down on the wood. But really, most of this process is just going at it by feel. A practice one here or there helps a lot, but at the end of the day, you just gotta go for it and make corrections as they come about. I found the process of painting often involves going over old areas again and mixing it with new colors. So you just gotta get started and see where it takes you. Mixing up a solid semi-light gray just so I could have a consistent color to paint the fish over top of. It's very difficult to paint dark fish on top of a dark background, so I did a rough outline of what I thought the fish would look like and I painted a background. I personally don't believe you can use enough tools when it comes to the creation of art, so I used everything I could at my disposal. What I'm doing now is drawing the background so that way I can put the fish stencil over top of it. If you'll see, I went over it with the back of my pencil super rough, and that way I'm able to, when I push on top of it with a pencil, you get a very rough outline on top of the board. After that, you want to outline it with something a little bit darker, and then you can go ahead and paint from there. But the biggest challenge for me right now is to make sure that the fish are lined up, because you don't want them off center and you don't want one fish to be halfway on the board and the other one's all the way on the board. It wouldn't work out. But the stenciling and the drawing things out and the lining them up ahead of time really can help prevent this. that I have everything outlined with pencil, I'm starting to go over it with paint. I found that at this point in the creation process, I was really starting to get lost in the creation of the art itself. And for me, that's my favorite part, when you start working on something and you sort of get lost in the moment and you enter a flow state. That's the biggest reward when it comes to making things like this for me. I think me spilling my water cup is a good place for the video to end, so I'm going to cut it short here. However, I'll get part 3 edited and upload it by Friday. Thank you all so much for watching. If you missed part 1, it'll be linked in the description. I appreciate you sticking around to the very end, and I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to help the channel, because it does help a lot.